Call a meeting order.
Father in heaven, thank you so much for this day you bless us with. Thank you for the warm weather that you blessed us with in the last few days. Lord, we just pray that you lead us all here tonight, help us work together and make the best decisions that will best benefit our community. Lord, we give you all the praise and the glory and all the love in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Larry, I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
I have Michael Vanderborg,
Here.
Laura Wagner. Here. Mayor John Krzyzewski,
Here.
Punky Stevenson, and Marie Anderson.
Here.
All present.
Thank everybody for coming. Appreciate it. More the merrier. Shows a little bit of concern about what's going on in our town. It's great. Before we try to get the consent agenda, I have an addition. If you guys approve of it, we need to add in the interest for the alley upgrade that we were working on last meeting. Well, we have a proposal in front with it, and it's timely, so we need to pass it tonight if possible. So I want to add that to the agenda of old business. Other than that, you guys can review the bills and minutes, and monthly department reports, and if there's any questions, go entertain them. We'll get a motion to pass the consent agenda.
John, did we get any bids in for the process for the loans? Wasn't it supposed to be tonight too? Okay.
Yep.
I just said it there. It says in email. Yep, it just came in.
Is it interactive?
No.
No, it's the, it was
I-
second.
Yeah, she had already sent out. I could already sent out when it came through.
I have mine. No, I
On
have
your
mine.
next day.
They have a copy of that.
Oh, okay, so you didn't need me one. I have my,
Right.
okay.
I knew you had it.
Gotcha. Confusing me.
I'll make the motion to accept the consent agenda and the bills for this month.
We have a motion to accept. We have a second.
I'll second it.
We have a second. Are there any questions, discussion? If not, vote.
Aye.
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 Aye. Passes. Old business. This council to discuss community center building offices. We received this letter from the chamber regarding the community center after our last meeting at the community center with the chamber. And I believe a representative, Ricky, or one of you, have something to say in regards to this?
I suppose. Well, hopefully you all had a chance to read our concerns in the letter that we sent out last week.
I provided, it was emailed and then I provided you a copy.
Is it in the packet or?
No.
It's stood up on the table.
Yeah. Since it was emailed to you, I went ahead and printed it to give to you a copy.
And if you haven't read it, I mean, we can go over a couple of things in there, but, I mean, it's a long letter. And I guess, you know, the chamber's frustration is it just seems like we're not real clear on exactly what the city wants to do with that. You know, we met in December and some deficiencies were noted. You know, the city council was not thrilled with where the chamber was going, and so we addressed that. We, hopefully we're making inroads to establishing some better communication. We met shortly thereafter and talked to some of our council members in a private meeting, Linda and Laura and the mayor were there. We talked about working more together. It seemed to be a pretty fruitful meeting, if you ask me. The mayor had talked about possibly turning over our rentals to the city because he felt that that would work better. The idea would be that the city would have someone at City Hall taking rental and taking care of the community center from the city offices, which kind of made sense. You guys are staffed continuously throughout the day, so we didn't have any problems so much with that. A little bit of concern with loss of revenue, but not a huge amount that we need to be concerned with. So it seemed like a good meeting to us. That again was brought up at the city council meeting on the 10th of January where, it was made public, and again, it was fine with us. And again, it seemed reiterated that the rentals would be done through the city council office. I was not here for the special meeting on the 26th of January. I was here for a while, but had to leave. And I guess at that point, it was decided that the rentals that the city would be doing would actually be done through the community center, at the community center. And not only being done there, but it was going to be done in our office, and we were going to be asked to move. And the fear of moving has kind of been on our minds since, I don't know, September, August, or whatever. The thought that, at some point we're going to be asked to leave that office and to where we didn't really know. But anyway, that seemed to come to fruition. I got a call from Eddie the following week. I'll put Eddie on the spot here. And I'm hoping it was a misunderstanding. Hopefully there's some communication errors there, but we were told at that time that the Carla would be moving into our office that we're in now. The Betterment would be moving into the vacant office that's right next to us, and we would be moved into the storeroom behind the two offices where our pots and pans and paper plates and stuff are kept. I don't know if that was actually discussed at the city council meeting or if that was maybe a misunderstanding, but.
Yeah, you would be moving where? To the back?
Into the storage room.
No.
Okay, so that may have been a miscommunication between city and chamber, but obviously that is correct, right? That's a misunderstanding?
Yes.
I thought it was a third office.
There is
Three
no-
offices that are there.
We said
We're
the
going to
second office.
convert it to
There
an
was one
office, is what you
alternative
guys
office,
decided,
put an exterior window in. was what my
Second
understanding.
office.
so that it was big.
Well, to clarify, then we were going to be asked to move into what is currently a storeroom. Is that not right? Or-
The second office,
Okay, well, that seems to be part of the
not
misunderstanding.
around the corner.
Okay, all right.
And
So-
we're gonna, what we had, when I brought it to the council at the last meeting, we discussed it, and the council, we decided that we could put a similar window in the second office, and change that window as well, so that we have both sliding windows, so that cash can be handled from inside either office. And people coming in would be approached from right
Well,
there.
To us, it was communicated that we would be moved into a back room, so that I guess was a mistake, and that's good to hear. That would have been a little bit difficult for us to accept. After that phone call from Eddie, and we voiced our concern, we got a call from the office requesting that we meet the next day with the mayor and some of the people that were going to be involved. It was this Carla, Betterment Committee was there, Cricket Anderson was there, Eddie was there, and most of our board was there. And it was a fantastic meeting. We sat down, and I appreciate the mayor reaching out to us and offering that opportunity to sit down. And it took about 15 minutes for us to talk about the prospect of sharing an office with Carla. Our office, if you haven't seen it, has 2 desks already in there. We had agreed, and I don't think there was any major misgivings about it. Everyone seemed agreeable to it, that we would share the office. The Betterment Committee would still be able to have the second office that is ready to go, basically. We just need to move some boxes out of there. And it seemed to make sense for everybody. The Betterment Committee offered the idea that that office could be used for a secondary meeting spot. If either of our office people needed to step out and meet with someone next door, we could do that. The Betterment Committee doesn't necessarily, and they've said themselves, don't necessarily need an office to staff because they don't have anyone to staff one. Just having a place where they can keep some of their their documents and working materials and have a place to meet is all they needed. So we could still share that office as well. Everyone seemed agreeable to it. It was awesome. We spent the next half an hour talking about how we could work with each other and collaborate. And that's not to say that the city would be doing our job if we're not there, that we would be doing the city's, but gosh, you know, how nice it would be to have someone in that office 7 days a week, all day, or 5 days anyway, all day. We talked about staggering our hours, so if Carla was gonna work in the afternoon, we'd be there in the mornings, so there'd be very little overlap. So if there was a need for privacy, I think that was brought up, that maybe there are discussions or something that Carla may need to have with somebody. The amount of time we would be in the office at the same time would be pretty minimal. And even if, you know, even if we needed to step out so Carla could have the office, I don't see that a problem. The whole idea of working with the city seems to, the easiest way to do that is actually working with the city, having someone in the office together, working together, and possibly collaborating. So the meeting was great. It's just within 45 minutes to an hour after it, we got a phone call saying that that's not going to happen. The city council, and you know, I'm not trying to point fingers at anyone or just be adversarial here, but the word came down that the city council was not going to have that. That's not what the vision was for our working together, that the city would prefer having the Betterment Committee working with them in their office, and we would have the smaller office next door. So that's our biggest frustration, is kind of figuring out where, you know, where we stand, who's making decisions. We don't want to waste your guys' time meeting with you in private if other committee members are going to say no, then we're not going to agree to what you guys are going to do. That's frustration for us. It's a waste of time for you, and we don't want to go through that. We were happy with the way that meeting went, and it's difficult for us to understand why that wouldn't work. And so that's where we're at. You know, we talked about the vision that the city has for the chamber and community center, but it seems to change from month to month. At least it seems to us. So all we need, I guess, from you guys is just some clarification as to why that won't work.
What do you do? What do you do? Full-time, what do you do?
I work at Betty Hoffman's office.
Okay. Would you share your office with somebody that's in a different business? Can you share your office with somebody that's in a different business?
I could share it, but in our
Legally?
situation,
And what kind of problems can that dictate?
I work in the accounting office. so-
Correct. So if you have someone else that's sharing, now you got personable information and other stuff, right?
Tell me what marketing is going to have personal.
It doesn't matter, she's a city employee.
Sure.
You can't, no, it doesn't.
It'd be the same as if you were asking for someone to work in a doctor's office.
Hopefully they'd work for the
There's
doctor,
there's
correct?
Very sensitive information that would be contained.
Would they work for the doctor, or would they be an outside source in there?
What difference does that make? I'm saying it couldn't work in the same way that you couldn't work in a CPA office and ask someone from another business.
That's the same reason why you can't share an office. It can't work.
I don't think that relates to our marketing. So. if you're
She's a
telling us-
city employee. She handles city business.
Correct.
You can't have an outside source in the same office.
If it's a chamber of commerce, I would.
Chamber of
argue-
Commerce is an outside business entity. It doesn't work for the city. You don't get paid by the city. You don't collect taxes or revenue from the
If the city-
citizens.
If the city wanted that to work, it would work.
No,
In the same way you were telling us that we couldn't do rentals.
you
Sure
can't.
it could, sure it could.
No, you can't. You
have-
can't make an entity for it unless you have a
You have your
contract
city
that stipulates
attorney.
per
Well,
con.
you got your city attorney saying you can, and we did, and have been for 20 years.
No, because it was done illegally. That's why we came up with what came down through.
I disagree with
You can disagree. We're going by what the audit is coming through that's saying what's legal, what's not. What I'm saying is that we can't have somebody outside the city sharing an office with somebody that works in the city.
that. What about the Betterment community? Because that is.
I don't want, they shouldn't be in there either. I don't care who it
So
is.
again, maybe it's not us and you guys that need to communicate, maybe it's you guys. Because right now we're being told it's the Betterment is going to be working with the city in that office.
Last I heard, they weren't even getting an office. Was anybody else different on that?
Nobody's what I heard too.
I-
That's, like I said, no office, right?
Right.
Okay,
Our-
we're getting misinformation from the city. And this isn't on the chamber, this is from the city that's telling us this.
I'd like to start off by, who told you, the city council, after that meeting, that wasn't gonna work for the city council? Because nobody had spoke to me.
I got a call from Cardinal, basically that's saying that that wasn't gonna work. And I don't wanna put anyone in the hot seat, but I did talk to the mayor as well. And I think you guys need to talk more together about who's saying what, because, you know, we're getting a call from a city employee, whether it's Eddie, whether it's Carla, whether it's one of you, and we're being told something that is not the case. And it doesn't help, you know, if we're under the impression we could be moved into a back room somewhere, of course that's not gonna do us any good. All it does is make us upset, because we're being told something that isn't true. And guys, I'd be honest with you, if we all showed up at the community center with our boxes ready to move into an office, I could pretty much care less which office we went into. If you're talking about those two offices, it's not a big deal. It's just, what you're doing is taking the new person that's coming in, making someone who's been there for 20 years move everything out of that office into a smaller office, and then putting the new person in the other office. It's twice the effort, twice the work. And if you guys say we would prefer that Carla be in that, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to, Carla, I love you.
You're fine.
If you're telling us that we prefer the bigger office that has the window because we're the city and that's what we want, we got nothing to say. You guys are the current administration, you're gonna tell us what we're allowed to do and what we are going to do with respect to where we are in there. So it's on you. We're just, right now, we're sharing our frustration because it just seems like it's changing, you know. We thought we had all this worked out, and it seemed like it worked well. And I argue the point, Murray, I'm sorry, but I can't see where a Chamber of Commerce who's working for and promoting the city can't work alongside someone that's in marketing.
But the chamber's job is not to promote the city, it is to provide services for the businesses that actually belong to it. Correct? Because it's in your actual bylaws.
Sure, I know what our bylaws say.
Okay,
I know.
that's what its job. It isn't to do anything with the city. It is to do with the business
Okay,
owners
so-
that are a part of. That's where your money's come from, correct?
It is,
Okay, so that's who you work for.
okay.
Okay.
I didn't
The
say we work
city,
for the city, we promote the city as best we can through our businesses, for sure.
but that's where the line has to be. The line isn't, you don't work for the city. The city actually works for the taxpayer base that comes in. We provide the services to each and every taxpayer that's within the control, right? Okay. Chamber's responsibility is to who?
To our businesses.
The businesses.
Right. So the meetings we've had about collaborating with the city, and both the city and the chamber supporting each other, doesn't seem to be the vision right now. That's what I'm hearing from you.
Yes.
Okay.
That's where I'm,
Well,
I don't
that's
have a
important.
problem with it.
That's
I've been
important for us
around
to
and
know.
with the chamber for a long time. But what I keep seeing is it's almost like nobody knows what their job really is. Nobody knows what each place needs to go through. And we have the same thing as far as with city employees. Your job is not to answer to anything from the city, it's to answer to the business owners that actually belong.
Well, I understand that, but we're making an effort to try to mend fences here, to try to cooperate with the city as best we can, and kind of do what you guys would like to see us do. That doesn't mean we're working for you, it means we're making an effort to try to get along, to work together. And it is helpful for us to know that if there needs to be a separation there, if that's what you want, then it's helpful for us to know that, because that is not what we had been discussing for the last 2 or 3 months. We talked about working together, we talked about supporting each other. I know the function of the chamber, I know what we should be doing. It doesn't mean that we can't work together with the city. It doesn't mean we can't share an office. It just means that we need to have an agreement and be able to work together. And if we can't, then so be it. It's your decision. It's, right now, our current administration that's in front of us today is the one that dictates what happens in that community center. We acknowledge that. You guys are the ones that make those decisions. That's fine. We're just frustrated having to move our office for what appears to be no good reason, except that you guys want that office, and if that's the case, so be it.
I think it was our vision from the very, very start of this whole thing, all of us. I don't know where this went awry, but there was supposed to be 3 offices down there, and I didn't know at the time, but when we was talking about Carla's job and we hired her, she was coming in as a marketing director to help the city.
Right.
So at that point in time, she's gonna have, our discussion was, she's gonna have meetings down there in that office. And it may take 30 minutes, it may take several hours. So when we discussed this, that was our vision, to turn that office into her office and keep that office so we can have, if we've got engineers coming in here, we can utilize that office down there for them to come in there and meet at that point in time. And there was enough office spaces, whoever needed it was going to provide offices,
Sure.
but we was gonna take over the main offices, is what I understood and we agreed on from the very start of this.
I think we missed that somewhere.
And I don't know if you guys remember that or not, but that's what I remember.
That's
That's what I know.
It boils down to misinformation going out of city somehow to yourself, the public, et cetera. And what we really need is, in fact, yourself or anyone wants information on what was decided or what's going on. They call City Hall and say, hey, I've got this problem with the roads, or I got this problem at the community center, or whatever. Then whoever answers the phone at City Hall will direct you to that department head or the operations manager or myself or the clerk. Direct you to, then we will decide if it's something that we need to take right to the foreman or whatever of that department and go discuss it with them. And any information you want that's solid. See, when we leave this room, the 4 of these guys, as great as they are and as helpful as they are to the city, unless they're appointed to do something or to be informing the public or anything, if they're not appointed during that meeting or a meeting, then whatever they say is just their personal opinion of what's going on. It's not what the city is doing or will do or has done. It's not in concrete. But when we're here as a group, as a forum, then quorum, I should say, then what they say goes, period. So that's the thing to keep in mind, that once everybody leaves this room, it's more or less opinions of what's what. But if you call straight to City Hall, we can direct your question to get you an answer. And it may even be to talk to a councilman. It may even be that, but it's got to go through the right chain so that the right answers can be made and given to you, and not, you know, I don't want someone to get scared that they're going to have to go do this or go do that or whatever, wrong information all the time. It should come right through the right area, through the right channels. And that's the big, to me, that's what I see was the biggest problem here is, but after that meeting that we had, that I was in on, Eddie was in on, you guys were all there, was great. Carla was there. We all thought that would work. And then once we got back and started discussing it with council members, that we evidently have a problem with the 2 not working together well for business point of view, city point of view. And that's fine, the consortium up here can decide that. And we did, I won't say they because I'm on the board, we did come up with that, and we came up with a good, it's not really a compromise, but a good proposal, and that is to put 2 sliding windows in, both matching those 2 offices, and you guys get the offices. The city decided with the needs of the city and Carla, et cetera, that they would need a bigger office for, I guess, more people coming and going, whatever reason they had. But I wasn't taking notes that day, but they decided that. And then as for the move, we've got a crew that we can move you. That's not a problem.
It's not just the moving, it's just helping us to understand exactly what motivates some of the decisions. And it's difficult for us to move that. I mean, we still want to work with the city, there's no doubt of that. The chamber will always want to do the best to work with the city, not for them, but work with them, and collaborate with them, and hopefully get support from them. It's just, there is miscommunication still happening, and it's frustrating.
Well, it might be a kind of a cross-up between, okay, the chamber's not here, but our city is, they can't just reach over to the other desk, oh, here's a pamphlet, and vice versa. You really don't know who should have what information from the other party.
Well,
You're the
it's-
chamber with the businesses in town, with the city, with her advertising, et cetera.
I can't say as I will necessarily agree with that, that is your decision.
That's what was,
I
yeah.
think that if we really want to work together, it would work, but if that's your decision, there's nothing for us to say about it.
Well, my personal opinion, this is just me, but I think it would be hard sharing an office like that when you've got different entities. You know, if it was just Carly in there and you guys in there, I don't think it'd be a problem. But if we needed a place for engineers to come in here, if we need to scatter out blueprints or whatever, like this alleyway here, we need some place to go with that. And to have a good place for those to go. And I think if you guys are in there and she's in there with the marketing stuff, I don't think it's gonna have enough room. But if this secondary office, if we make it in, we're both gonna be able to do that. And that way, if you guys, you know, you're gonna have a big enough place that you're gonna be right across the hall. Yes, it's gonna take moving, but yet, we're both gonna come out of this okay.
It, like I said, we'll survive. And like I said, if we were all there showing up at the same time, I could care less. It's just the effort and the idea of, you know, now we're talking more about marketing. We're talking about city engineering, and having city meetings and stuff going on in there, which, I mean, we've got pretty big facilities here. And I'm not trying to be argumentative, but if we're just talking about marketing and stuff, that's different.
Yep. Well, that was the way I remember it, Ricky, is that was the vision from the get-go. That's what we was gonna do.
Chief, did you have something?
Yes. So another point of view of this, and Shannon and I just went through this, we go through an audit with Myrma. And any computers, any legal documents that belongs to the city cannot be viewed, seen, witnessed by anybody else. They're under the care, custody, and control of records management, and it's a cybersecurity risk just having a computer in there with somebody outside having access when she's not there. So that makes it impossible for anybody else to be in there, just with that alone. And we just went through that with our insurance company. So,
Okay.
Yeah, they can't be accessible.
Okay.
That
I guess
was my
part-
main concern, was the legality for the sharing of the offices. But then we're also using the community center as like, it's our emergency center right now, isn't that right, Jamie?
yes.
And so we had an issue during that freeze where we had two gentlemen in there that were staying, and the community center was apparently rented out, and we had to scramble and move them, and no one informed us that that person had canceled their rental. So that was a little inconvenient for all parties involved, so that was frustrating. And then I've been concerned about a few things as far as like who has keys and who doesn't have keys, and who's taking keys from city personnel. And the fact that Eddie didn't have keys to the building at all. And the fact that you guys haven't had a contract with the city since 2008. I know that's nothing to do with you, Ricky, you're new, but that's a long time for something to be lapsed and for no one to care. I mean, that goes on city too, you know, that we didn't do anything about it, but we're not trying to ruin Chamber. We are trying to correct numerous things that have happened throughout the years and the past years and just get on a legally good footing, if that's the right wording for that. And so, I mean, I would be more than happy outside of this, once we get this settled with the offices, to have a meeting with all the chamber members, all the community veteran members, all of us, even if it has to be formal and we have to take just something outside of a Tuesday night city council meeting, to where we can have a round table discussion and get on the same page that way, you know, so we can all, because essentially down the road, we're all working towards the main goal, betterment of Mountain View, but I don't think it's really something that needs to be discussed at a city council meeting. I mean, like this kind of stuff, yeah, we do need to discuss it, but I would like to see that in the future.
The chamber will always be happy to sit down with our council, but it just seems like, and we'll share and we'll continue doing that, but it just seems like if there's any real decision to be made, we really can't. Because if the whole council isn't there, then if we have disagreements, then it's really all for naught. And we'll, and like I said, you know, we'll move past this, it's fine, it's your decision, and if it really is a legal issue, which I don't understand all the legalities of some of this stuff, but if it is, so be it. You know, we'll do what we have to do. I guess at this point, what is it that we're doing? So do we have the smaller office, and if so, are we gonna have an agreement with the city that says we got that office for, and where is it, you know, the Betterment Committee, and, you know, we can say there was a misunderstanding all along, but she was under the impression she was gonna have that smaller office too. So, and she may not need it, and that's fine, but, you know, she's not gonna have an office anymore either. And again, I don't see cricket here, maybe it's a mood issue, but we just wanna make sure if we're going to that smaller office, we're gonna be there for a while. We don't wanna go to trouble moving everything and 2 months later, you know, oops, guys, that storeroom's looking pretty good back there, you know, because we don't wanna do that. You know, what we wanna do is focus on getting in a new director, focus on what we really need to be doing as a chamber instead of coming here and worrying about an office space for 3 months. That's all we want. And I don't know if any of the chamber wants to, anything to add or not, but I think that's the gist of it. It's just a frustration for us.
I do feel like just, that was one of my main concerns, was the legality of everything, because it didn't matter, like Carla had something out on her desk, and not saying, you know, you guys would maliciously or anything, but it's illegal. It's, I mean,
with this new audit.
Peter
we've
can,
got
I mean, we
through
can't,
Is really, really.
Not if it's a meeting that would be
To the point.
sensitive of
Yeah.
any kind, or information that, you know, if she got a phone call and did something that really needed to come to the council and
yeah.
somebody else was hearing it before you guys, that's not how it's supposed to work. And then the computer security is a big thing, because that gives you potential access to
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, we need something where we can lock up, but we do also need the space for the tables in case we have meetings. And I would like to see it utilized for emergency management purposes. Because if the center is our emergency center, it makes sense that,
To move the coordinator down there.
that everything he needs, he or she,
It's a-
is there.
So as
I'm
of
saying
right
for
now,
future references.
besides the new chain, not new, but the enlightened chain of information, calling City Hall, asking telling what you're looking for, then they'll direct you to what department, or who can say what's
I
going
don't
on.
think that applies to the situation we have right now.
Well,
I agree with you.
And right now, as far as the board is concerned, unless someone voices up right this second, that we're gonna move your office into the second office, build the 2 sliding windows, and it'll be the city at the first and that chamber at the second right now.
All right, so be it. Now, if, and like Laura was talking about, we don't have an agreement with the city for that space, so would you guys be able to draft up an agreement?
We've toiled and toiled with that, and boy, I mean, I actually lost sleep over it, just a little bit, trying to figure that out. And anything we do, the next board, or whoever it comes out and changes, you know, every time we change seats, can undo it.
Sure.
So we don't have anything bulletproof. All we can say is, while this board is in effect, this is gonna be that way. There's nothing bulletproof we can do. We cannot,
Yeah, but we
Give any
can't just
guarantee.
not have an agreement because of that, right?
say it again.
We can't get away with just not having an agreement because of that. I mean,
Oh,
administration's.
but it wouldn't be a bulletproof agreement. Yeah, agreement is not a problem, you know.
I think that's,
Can we do something like a
On a
yearly?
yearly basis.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not a problem. It's just that you gotta remember that
no, that's,
what we do, any board can undo.
well, we understand. They may move us into the big office next year, who knows? You know.
Right.
No,
But we
I
would-
kick Carla out. But, no, we understand that. We just want something, again, so we can rest easy for the next year or so, and just focus on what we need to do as a chamber, get our director in there. And, you know, I think at this point, we want to make the move before we hire somebody, so that they don't have to, you know, be involved in the move, and we can reorganize some things.
Well, another thing, Ricky, but it come to me through a person much smarter than myself, who stopped and started looking around and thinking, and come up with a really, what I think was a brilliant idea, and that is,
We need to be afraid.
the city reacquired the 123, I think is that the address? Yeah, on Elm Street. What if you guys took that on as a project to put your own chamber office in there?
Is it a house that
It'd be a
sits?
huge commercial.
It's
It's the building that has the,
across from the Engle Garden.
yeah, right across from your garden. It needs a roof, and then it's got black walls where it could have offices, secured, could have bathrooms, could have the entire meeting area, everything. Just think, something to think about, because I can't come up with a real good thing to do with it otherwise, and no one else has come forward with it. But the idea of chamber having that, and in a strictly chamber building, that'd be pretty cool.
The idea of having separate offices is not something that's lost on us. I mean, in the discussions we've had and kind of not knowing exactly what was going to be happening, there's a house too somewhere here in town, I think that's vacant, that probably would actually be turned into a chamber of some sort. That would be really good. We have $28,000 in the bank right now, so we don't have enough money to be able to renovate something and move into. I mean, we can do something that's turnkey, but we can't do any renovations of any sort unless we have some, maybe some of the businesses might be able to support us in that. Preferably, we'd like to stay where we're at. And again, I would just like to see the businesses that are chamber members, the 100 or so that we have now, I would like to see them see us be able to work together. That's what I'd like to see. And I think that would go a long way for us to, for the city to support the chamber is good for the businesses to want to be part of the chamber. Who wants to be part of the chamber that the city doesn't seem as if they're supporting anymore?
Absolutely.
And in the same way.
Do you see the same thing, that we don't support chamber? Because you've mentioned that several times, and that's good, because I'm going back in just the last year, and any event that chamber has had, we have been there in overwhelming force. And it hasn't been just a little bit of resources. We're talking a lot of resources, and most of the time, the resources outnumbered the chamber members that were actually there.
We do acknowledge that we get a lot from the
But
city, and we know that.
that's what I'm saying here. I keep getting, and it might be just the fact, the frustration you're coming up with for the office, which I can get, but to say that the city itself hasn't allocated the help and support is really unfair. It's not just unfair to us, it's unfair to the workers and the people that actually
I'm
went
not
out and
saying
did
the
that.
city isn't supporting us, so don't say I'm saying the city's not supporting us. I'm just saying it's good for the businesses here in town to see the city supporting us. It's not the same thing. When we're here struggling over, 40 minutes, 45 minutes, 3 months on just figuring out an office space, that's ridiculous. It really is. And that's something that we should have been able to figure out outside the city council meeting, in my opinion. And because we're struggling with it and we want answers, maybe it does need to be in city council, but we understand, and I have said before many times, that we appreciate what the city does for us. Being in that space saves us a lot of money, we know that. Being in the center itself is a good spot, it's an excellent spot for a chamber to be in, so we recognize that. We have gotten a lot of money in support previous years, and that has been very helpful to the chamber. So that's, again, that's not lost on us. And I'm not saying that the city isn't supporting us, it just seems like some of the actions right now, a lot of people looking in and go, what in the world is the city doing? And we will explain to them what's going on, and we'll be honest with them.
But I don't know where the miscommunication, because like I said before, this was at the first meeting we had, this was our vision for Carla, the whole building down there and everything. So I don't know where it went wrong.
When we sat down and I know that some of our chamber members were there, we were under the impression that after we had the meeting in January, actually somewhere between December and January, we sat down and it was when Mayor brought up the fact that we want to have a marketing person doing the rentals. I'm pretty sure we were told that the idea we were told. We were told, because the idea that there's always someone in the city. Someone's always gonna be at the city offices to collect those funds. So we were given the impression that that person would be working in the city offices. So that's where we
What do you
got
mean,
the-
City Hall?
City Hall, yeah.
Well, any of the people at the tellers could
Yeah.
Right,
take that.
exactly. So
But
that's,
when-
that's the impression that we got.
But when we hired Carla, when we come back to the next city council meeting, that's when we divvied up everything that we'd done, and that was cut and dry between the four of us, is that was what was supposed to happen at that point in time.
I must have missed that part, because, and again, you know, it just seemed, it's not just me, it was most of our council, chamber members were in that impression as well. But anyway, and again, it doesn't help for us to get all bristly about it, when you hear that, you know, it's not gonna be us sharing an office, it's gonna be better, and I don't have anything against anybody, I don't have anything against Cricket. Cricket's always been upfront, very honest with what she's doing, and that, no, I don't need an office, and we know that, but yet, you know, we were told that she's been sharing the office with the city and kicking us out, so it doesn't help. It doesn't help with our frustration level when we hear things like that. So yes, hopefully we can move past that if we just have, communication, make sure we're getting the right information.
Eddie, sorry, go
No,
ahead.
no,
Eddie, do we have in-house people that can take care of that? What timeframe are we maybe looking at to get that done?
As far as moving everything over, or the window,
The window, getting that office up to speed, what they want.
we, getting the window put in, yeah, 1, 2 days tops. Getting the window may be a different story, you know, just the way everything is. I'm not sure what the lead time is right now, but, at one time windows were, you know, quite a ways out, but, I mean, once we get the window, it can be in a matter of I'd say 1 day, honestly. You know, it's just a simple, cut it out, frame it in, put it in, turn it out, and it's done. So, I mean, we've got the guys on board that can do it, so.
Yeah, and I will ask this, is there anything as far as like phone jacks and everything, is there everything they need in that
I
office?
believe
or-
there's plenty of phone jacks in there, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think.
And
The city
did-
has also offered them our internet so that they don't have to pay for their own anymore.
Now, I will question that. Can we be on the same server?
It depends on if we're accessing the cloud. If our server accesses the cloud there, then no. But if it's just the general internet, as long as there's a firewall between it, then it's fine.
Well, we're fine with, I mean, and we appreciate that, we may take you up on that, but I think for the time being, we'll probably keep ours for now until we get everything situated and set up properly and whatnot. So again, we'll do it, you know, like I said, it is frustrating how this came to be, but so be it. All we want at this point is to see if you guys are willing to do some kind of, I mean, it's not going anything forever, but some kind of an agreement so that we can be done with it. If
We can do some
And it
kind
could be
of a
something
resolution.
simple.
Yeah, we can put together a resolution for the council for the next meeting.
Yeah, I have no problem with doing something because, I mean, I understand where you're coming from. You don't want to be wondering where are we going to go in the next 3 months or whatever. Like, I get that frustration. I'm perfectly comfortable with that, but as far, so I guess just basically for this meeting, the city is taking the main office, and that's just, it comes straight down to just legal purposes at this point, so that way we can just make sure that no one can say anything. We've got a lock on the doors. If there's any sensitive city documents in there, they are secure, they're only being seen by city personnel. And like what Jamie said with the computers and everything. And then, and actually, like, I took measurements, and that second office is actually, if I measured that right, Eddie, it's more space than, or like, it's
It is
comparable
less, but we're talking like
like-
60 square feet difference, so. it's pretty
of
big.
dividing it, and then you're also eliminating the privacy factor, you know, that you guys would have. I mean, it's very, very few square footage. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a builder, I don't. I have no problem admitting I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to things like that, but Yeah, I did go down with Eddie to measure it just to see, because I didn't want to short you guys, you know, if it was gonna be an extraordinary amount. But I'm perfectly comfortable with working something up and signing something. We had something done years ago, and we can have it on a year-to-year basis. I would like to see something in there contingent with, at every council meeting, chamber does come and, you know, update us, just like, you know, any other, and that's, you know, more or less just a courtesy thing, just to keep everybody informed on the same page. And like I said, I would love to have a meeting with all three of us and heck, any other.
Well, anytime you guys want to do
Departments
that, the chamber will always be open to that. I mean, you know, we just, it doesn't mean that we don't want to work with the city, that's still our goal. We just,
You just need, wanted clarity.
yeah, we just need clarity, and just, as long as, you know, what we talked about is, as long as the decisions are being made for the right reasons, that there's not any other limiting factors. If it's more space you need, and you can have city workers in there besides cards and things that they need the extra space, then so be it.
Yeah, and that's what my thought was whenever, you know, Carla was gonna be down in there, and I was thinking, I know I probably didn't express it to anybody, but I was like, oh, it's our emergency center. I was like, it would be perfect to have the emergency management director, like he could have all of his stuff down there. So that'd be a, you know, HQ if anything happened, and we wouldn't have to worry about, like, sorry guys, get out. We need the space. Like, it's just ours for right now, for the next week or, you know, whatever.
Does that address all your concerns for now?
It does. I think we have expressed ourselves. Yes, yeah.
Can I ask what the time frame is that you're looking at for making this transition? Just because there are like historical documents that the community betterment has in that room, and I don't want those just thrown in a box, and I want to be
Absolutely.
respectful of that.
Yeah, operations manager, and I believe Ricky will be your representative for now,
Okay.
can get together and work that out. We won't just barge in there and go do something.
We'll have to,
Glass.
and we'll have to have that office up and going still, you know, before you guys move anything too, so.
Well, we appreciate that. It's, I don't, you know, it's not a huge thing to move the office over. That's been our home for 20 years, so. All right, thank you for.
Thank you, Ricky. Okay, next on the agenda is a council to discuss memorabilia in City Hall. I don't believe that representative is here, hasn't showed up, so we'll have to skip over that. And council to discuss parking on First Street. And Eddie, what did we come up with on the handicap and the angle of the parking?
As far as the handicap goes, I just got the email back from MoDOT on that, and his email started out, he was apologizing because it's probably a lot more information than what I needed. I was looking through it. It's gonna take some time for me to figure out, you know, the best avenue for us to take. As far as the parking goes, the spaces down there right now are currently 13 feet wide. Well, you know, the typical parking space is between 7.5 and 9 feet. I couldn't imagine trying to squeeze my truck in a 7.5 foot parking spot. So we're looking at taking these down from 13 to right around 10 feet, maybe 11, and angling these. I'm not sure on the degrees, but if we angle them quite a bit, we can gain about 4 foot in length right now, which is comparable to what had been mentioned cutting off of the sidewalk. And I think also it will make it a little easier backing out. We'll be able to see a little bit better. And I don't think we'll lose any spots. If anything, we might gain 1 or 2. Where we'll lose spots will be in the handicap parking spots, because they do take quite a bit of room.
1.5 times the width.
Yeah, something like that. I was reading through that, though it's gonna take some time for me to, which, I mean, there's several different options that MoDOT, give me there, so. But as far as angling them, I think that's gonna probably be our best route. You know, if we wanna continue to have people parking on Front Street and using those, you know, businesses, you know, if we go parallel parking, they always say the best way to parallel park is to go somewhere else. So
You're gonna get him parked around here now, you don't want them parallel parking?
Yeah, you can get them to put in a regular,
Is there any possibility when we do make a decision on this, because we're gonna have to restripe that, is there any way we could work with maybe MoDOT, or if we could seal coat that some way so we, once we do paint it, it's gonna be different lines altogether? And get
Yeah,
rid of the
I've-
old ones?
I've been trying to figure out, because I do want to get rid of everything that's there now. So, that's something else I'll need to, I mean, we could do paint stripper, because that, the lines that are there now are just marking paint, is what they are. So, if we do it, we've actually got the paint, and we're thinking white paint stands out, it pops a little bit more than the paint that they had been using. So, you know, if we can't seal coat, we may look at going through and trying to stripping that old paint off before we do anything.
I didn't know with MoDOT, because when they paved that, they paved all the way to the sidewalk, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know if they might be willing, if we got a hold of them, because I know they do seal coating on some of their stuff, if they would come in there with their, you know, no
They
cost to
might.
the city and seal coat that down through there, and then we could, all we'd have to do is restripe it.
That would be great if they would. I can definitely contact them and see when they'll be doing that. If they're gonna wait till warmer weather, then we're talking about waiting quite a while before we can restripe. So, but you know, if they say, well, we're not doing anything like that till summertime, we might look at, you know, trying to strip the old paint off and restripe. But I'll definitely check into it.
Do you have a question, Calvin?
Yeah, I mean, this sounds, but it does not, the problem that exists there is no crosswalks. You probably need a sign up that says actually pedestrians have the right of way. Speed limit signs, park across the road if you're gonna be more than 10 minutes. Because we have all the time, I mean, when you're there and you see as much as I do, you have these trucks that will come in there that are big cab trucks or whatever, they stick 3 feet out. I mean, accident waiting to happen. Those are not being addressed in this, is what I'm kind of getting at. We had people that had parked across the road that started to come across and started to take off running because the traffic was coming around the corner so fast and tripped and fell. Okay, when I say there's no crosswalks and they're not looking down where it has been paved, like when the city plowed the last time, I went over and dug out where they could actually cross the road. When they plowed, the state plowed, they covered that all up to where there was snow there this high that you couldn't, there was no way possible. And I mean, it was gone within like a week. But those are problems that probably ought to be addressed through the city because there are 3 restaurants, there's a UPS shipping, there's post office boxes, there's other businesses that are going to be occurring there. I don't know about a flashing light, somebody comes around the corner. I mean, the problems that are occurring there, I can see somewhere in the future that it's going to be,
Big problems.
I mean, a big problem at some point. If we had crosswalks and the city painted, I don't know who's responsible, whether the state's responsible, because the last couple of times they paved it, if you actually walk over and look where the concrete is, it steps up 2 inches, then it steps up 2 more inches like this. It's like this time. And if you're not looking down to see that, that's where they fall. I mean, I've watched, I don't know how many people stumble just about. And I thought, well, maybe I need to go down and buy a can of paint and put something across there. And maybe we need to put some signs up that says 10-minute parking. And if you're parking with a truck, please park across the road. I mean, somebody that's gonna drop a big package off, they're gonna be there for 5 minutes, walk in, they get it done, they're gonna leave. That's fine. But when somebody goes to the restaurant and they have a diesel truck that's a dually that's sticking out in the road, there's all kinds of room across the road. That what I'm looking at is, that is the issue that we're really having there. And you're right, parallel parking is not going to solve that. And I don't know how you would get, West Plains tried it for years, you know, I mean, they made the mark to where you could only park, and they finally gave up on that because it's like, you know, you're paying an officer to walk around and, but most people will respect that if you have 4 or 5 signs through there that says, you know, please 10-minute parking, or, you know, please park across the road if you have a truck, or.
Hard to do with the darn restaurant there. I mean, darn, I'm glad there's a restaurant there.
Yeah, well, I mean, but
Hard
the
to
thing
do
is,
getting in to
you know,
eat.
yeah, I mean, and it's pedestrians. Somebody needs to inform a lot of people that when that pedestrian steps out on the road, they need to stop and let that person go across the road.
Yeah, that's one of those things we definitely have to make sure we clear that with MoDOT.
Well, but I
But
mean,
yeah,
see, I don't think there's any problem there. If we put those signs over there where they have planted trees, okay, did MoDOT approve the planting of the trees there?
not that I know of. What we did
Okay,
plan-
so why could you not put a sign right there?
Yeah,
where
we
the
put a
trees?
sign there, but when you designate a crosswalk, that's a little different.
Well, you have 3 places there where somebody's cut in. That's what I was talking about, where I cleaned out with the snow. So it's pretty much already designated. And you take around the square at West Plains, well, if I'm not mistaken, MoDOT owns that.
Could we not do a crosswalk? Because I actually like the idea of a crosswalk or something, because I can't tell you how many kids I see when they leave school, that's the path they take.
That's right.
And it's right down,
And then
if
Oak
they don't
Street.
stop at the library, I mean,
Yeah, no, I'm
I
all
would
for
love
it.
to see something down there. I don't know what we would need to do as far as contacting MoDOT, if it's ours or,
I can contact Mike Blake Jr., the one I've been in contact with the parking spaces, so we can at least point them in the right direction.
yeah, 'cause I mean, if we're gonna be out there painting, you know, and redoing that, I mean, that'd be the perfect time to do that, and then that's just an added safety feature. And typically, when people see that, they slow down,
Yeah.
so,
And with that being a state highway too, I'm sure they've got stipulations on what you can and can't do
Absolutely.
on the highway itself.
Yeah, as far as like the parking areas out, you know, between the highways and businesses, they don't really hold us, you know, hold our feet to the fire on that. But when you start talking about the actual driving surface, then yeah, it's a different story. So.
Well, if
yeah,
you talk to their safety department up there at MoDOT, and you put it to them as safety, I think you would probably get them rolling the ball very quickly.
Yeah, I don't think we'll have any problem with it, but I'll definitely talk to them about that.
So we'll let you look into that further. Any other discussion on First Street parking?
so are we on a, like, discussing a timeline for this right now, or are we just getting ideas, gathering information, or are we like, we want this done by April?
It's up to what information you find out, how long it takes.
Okay.
And then
I mean, if we want to continue with the just changing the
angle
angle,
of striping.
then, I mean, that's, you know, if we want to wait until they seal coat, then we're talking, it may be a while. But if they say, we're probably not going to do any of that till mid or late May, if you all want us to go ahead and try and strip the old paint and restripe, we can go ahead and do that, so.
I like that idea
Yeah,
because it
I'm
would
good
give
with
us a
that.
test
Yeah,
right up front as to how well it's gonna work. And get feedback from everybody in town.
yeah, that way the businesses can chime in and,
Is that 17 highway that runs in front of the grade school?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, they've got permission for crosswalks right there.
Yes.
I don't think
Painted in and the whole 9
This
yards.
school is federal.
Yeah, but, I mean, it's all the same deal. It's called safety. And that's my thing is, put them, you know, just,
With the restaurant in the middle of the block, we'll need about 4 crosswalks there to get to the parking lot.
and that's fine. I mean, but the thing is a major one or something. You know what I mean? Somebody, yeah.
So that's 2 parts, then you proceed with deciding the angle and starting with the angle, and at the same time getting information on the safety idea.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, Getting on to new business. Council to discuss contract for the water tower inspections, page 67, 72.
Old business to work in the
Whoa.
financing
Oh.
for the outlet.
Oh, sorry. Yep, we did add that to the end of the agenda. Laura forgot to remind me. We did receive, the Central Bank of Midwest has option 1 and option 2. We did, we had other banks very interested as well as Simmons in town, but they did not turn one in because of our audit isn't finished yet because of the last few years of our not conforming to our accounting practices. We got it all straightened out now, but everything's not audited yet. Until that audit, they can't, so that can be a long time down the road. So instead, but to be able to move on with this, we've got those 2 options, and I went and reviewed it with others much better versed in the finance industry than myself. And it was recommended to go with option 1, because odds are we're gonna be paying it off more than likely in 8 years probably, but less than 10 years. And this way you take advantage of a little bit lower interest, and it's 4.48% interest. And then after that, you can read everything else that it does. It changes with the 10-year treasury plus 1.15% for years 11 through 20. So in theory, we would be wanting to pay it off within 10 anyway, and it would not be over 4.48%.
If interest rates drop, can we refinance it at some point?
You can always, yes, always. Yep. And there's no penalty for paying off early either. And if we go with that option 1, it would be $1,681.67 a month. Myself, I would definitely suggest we go with that, get it rolling. Because everybody's been kind enough to, along the line, to hold back and not jump the gun and proceed when we're ready. Everybody meaning Scobie Construction at the price that he held from October. So.
Is the ceiling ever done?
Yes, because we don't have our audit done for the city. Yes.
Make a motion that we accept option 1 of Central Bank of the Midwest for the loan amount of $242,200 for the upgrade of the main power lines in the alleyway. Did we go too fast?
Second.
Thank you.
Say option 1.
Yes.
I'll second that motion.
Any further discussion? Roll call vote.
Aye.
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 Aye. Now we can proceed. Now we can move on to new business. Water tower inspections, page 67, 72. That's a contract that we yearly have. Eddie, can you explain that in the short term? That they do the inspections, they do the cleaning, they do a lot of stuff for us, and we
Yeah, we're required every 5 years, no more, no less, I guess, than 5 years, every 5 years to clean the inside of our water tank, our storage, our holding tank, and our water towers. And then every so often they come through and do a visual inspection of the outside, for our ground storage tank. They would check the integrity of our concrete and our finish on the outside. On the towers, they check for corrosion, our vents, make sure everything's screened off, because we don't have the equipment to have our guys climb the tower safely. I mean, and these outfits they know exactly what to look for. And we don't have anyone trained to get in on wells and clean them either. definitely a job I would not want. But it's one of those things that, to keep us in compliance with DNR, we have to do it.
And then after discussing it with Scotty from the head of the water department, as well as Larry Patel, what do you call him?
Our consultant,
Our consultant, it's really a good deal for what they do, because for that fee every year, they're doing a lot more than if we just hired them to come and do that anyway. You know, if you just call them or another contractor to come out and do a washout or whatever, it's like $4,000, and we get it for $1,700, because, well, $1,450, because it's already there. It's already in the contract, they're maintaining it.
Yes.
It's not, no surprise when they get here. And we've had this before, we're really just re-upping it, and the city has been satisfied with their work so far. So I just need authorization to go ahead with it from you guys.
And that's just reiterating, we have to do this. It's to keep us in compliance.
We have to have someone, yes.
Yeah, and of course, our
Yes.
guys can't. I don't even think probably just paying them manpower, just the wages,
well,
couldn't
yeah,
touch.
yeah, and not to mention, you know, the inherent risks that come with it, you know,
Yeah.
getting down in those tanks.
Yeah, and I'm sure their license bonded.
Exactly.
It's very well experienced.
Yep, I know the guy personally, down here, so. I'll make a motion to accept that.
Motion to accept renew the contract on the annual inspection program. We have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second. Any further discussion? Roll call vote.
Aye.
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 Aye. Council will discuss electric rates. What are we going to discuss? Electric rates?
I know in years past, when I was on the council, and nobody likes to pay more for electric rates, but when we switched over from Show Me to the new co-op, it was, we decided at that time that we was gonna save enough money because Show Me had raised our rates so much at that time that I believe it was a 20% drop, is that right?
10%.
10%. Anyway, and it was our discussion as a council at that time that we needed to probably readjust those again within 2 years. And I don't believe we have done that, but I know that we are paying more now than what we, it's very tight. So I think at some point, we're probably gonna have to adjust that to come up to today's standards as far as what we're paying, to keep the city in the black and not go behind them. So,
We're also carrying that huge bill from 2021. That is on top of our regular bill. It's, right, it's more than 10,000, but not quite 11,000 for 2021 that we chose not to pass on to the customers. The city absorbed that, but again, that's an additional almost $11,000 a month we have to pay out of pocket on top.
And it was my understanding, the former administration, that was almost a $750,000
Yeah.
bill that they chose to absorb
Correct.
on this.
I
So
believe, Peter, wasn't it 20, was it 2 years?
60 payments.
Yeah, that's right.
60 payments at almost $11,000,
Yeah, that's right.
a third of the way through.
Are we currently looking at, or is somebody looking at our electric rates right now, doing an audit of that?
MPUA is
And
doing a
the
rate
big
study.
thing with that, not only look at the rates, but simplify it to where you don't have so many different breaks. It just needs to be, okay, there's a meter fee or a line fee, and then so much per kilowatt hour, and break it down to three-phase or big businesses and everybody else. That's how all the co-ops and stuff run it, but hopefully that's what they're gonna come back and tell
And
us.
we didn't ask for a rate study. MPUA is doing random rate studies on all of their customers, and we just happen to be in the first batch of 3, so.
Yeah,
So I think that's a good bit of information when we get back. But yeah, anybody that looks at a bill, I know it's confusing. I know exactly why it's confusing, because it needs to be simplified.
And we haven't raised our rates in many years, and our costs have definitely gone up. Big time.
Nobody wants to see it happen, but as a city, we have to stay in the black and be able to provide our services. And if we're not able to do that, then we're gonna have to do something.
And the cost of services haven't gone up as much as the electricity itself. I believe it's 50% up since we took on that contract.
Probably so. I know it's taken it's increased quite a bit just in the last 8 months.
What we pay for electricity is just keeps going up. Somewhere along the way, something's got to give. We don't want to be caught short-handed. But we'll get that rate, as they get that rate study done, and we'll do some more research on it, come up with a proposal and remedy the situation. Any further discussion on that? Council to discuss a transfer from general fund to Parks and Senior Center to balance fiscal year 2022. That was for our county.
Yes, so our finance consultant, she got a hold of me today, and she said if we could just push this off, we were gonna do that, but then the auditors are gonna be in next month. And she said, they're going to say, let's move here, let's move there, and she said, rather than doing a bunch of moves, she just said after thinking about it, she recommends we just do it one time next month and then make all the changes that they recommend.
So none tonight.
Right. Because she said otherwise we're doing it now and then we're gonna do some more, she's sure in another year next month. So she just figured it would just be best to do it all at once after looking at it further.
And to discuss upcoming library grants. 73, 74, I believe that was here.
I am working on a grant from the American Library Association to see if we can't get automatic doors at the library. So that is what I'm working on right now. We have received an LSTA mini technology grant, and we were able to get 6 new computers, a high volume printer, a scanner, and 3 Chromebooks. So we are doing that. The cost to the city is nothing. We were able to keep the cost down, so there was no match for the grant. So, the ALA grant is due the end of February. So that's where we are with grants. The ALA grant is not a match. It's not, they just give you a lump sum, you do your project. The Jacks Fork Community Foundation of the Ozarks has agreed to cover any shortfall of the grant. The grant is either 10,000 or 20. I don't need 20, but I need more than 10. So the quote for the doors was almost $12,000 for 2 automatic door openers. So they're expensive. And then I talked to John about the city doing the electrical work for the button. So if we can take care of that, the grant could take care of supplies, and the city could do the labor, then I think we can do it. So we just have to wait and see if we get the grant. It's for a diversity grant, so we'll see if they like our idea. So that's where we are with grants.
I think that's good job.
Good job.
Definite, got a definite support. Assistant Chief, Police Chief Stetson Schwank to speak about police department grants.
So I put the heading page of the sub board agreement in your packet. I don't know if you all got that. but just to briefly go over, this last summer, I wrote a grant through Department of Homeland Security. It's a federal grant. It's for $17,766 for 3 new Motorola in-car radios. These are the P25 compliant, so they're the new Mosman radios. We've been getting by. A couple of years ago, we found some used Motorola radios that were quite old on gut fields. One is shorting out, and so we just need to upgrade. This is a 100% reimbursed grant. I talked to the mayor the other day on a quote. This grant was sitting so long, and I finally got the sub-award. I found out that we were awarded the grant in January, and Department of Homeland Security wanted us to tweak our grant a little bit, so I had to send in a new quote. That new quote was for 2023 pricing, and of course, everything from year to year is going up. And so it put us over our award by about $1,500. The new quote was for $19,000 something. However, we were able to tweak that quote a little bit, have some things taken off, and we're now under or right at what we're awarded. So the cost of the city is going to be nothing. And so what these are, if you wanted to pass this through, this is what the quote is for. It's for 3 Motorola APX 8500 radios. That's the newest radio that Motorola makes, and it's one of 3 options that we can choose from. And since we were already all Motorola's across the board, figure stick with them. The accessories included with the quote is mics, mounting hardware, all the programming.
You said that was how much?
3 radios is the total quote is, I believe it's 17,000. You might have to look at that.
$766.
Yeah, it was
17,700.
$66.60.
You were way off.
Trying to find the cheapest one.
Do you need a resolution from us?
So,
to apply with the grant?
This is a reimbursement grant, so I do have to make the purchase and show that we have paid for it, and then I send in the reimbursement documents. Usually it takes, my last couple grants that I've put in reimbursements for, usually it's a couple weeks when we get the reimbursement. So I just need okay by the city to make the initial purchase for those radios. And then I would submit the reimbursement and they would pay us back 100%. So in the long run, it's costing nothing, but I do need to make that initial purchase.
Do we need a resolution to okay that?
Just a motion.
I think just a motion based on the purchasing policy.
Just a motion.
I'll make the motion that we allow Assistant Chief Stetson to purchase the Motorola radios for $17,766.60.
Do we have a second?
A second.
Any further discussion? Roll call vote.
Aye.
Vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, sir. That's
Stetson,
great.
you want this back?
Congratulations, by the way. I like that. That's great.
Well done.
Good job.
It takes a little bit on the government grants. It's an 8-month wait.
That's $17,000. That's great. Okay, then we're going to discuss obtaining bids for air conditioning at the community center building. And I believe that was in Eddie's line of work on page 76.
So we had originally talked about upgrading 1 unit per year down there, 4 years. And then hopefully it'll be good for another 15 to 20 years after that. And originally we had, I think it was previous mayor had thought that it was gonna cost around $10,000 a piece. Well, they come in quite a bit cheaper than that. So I had, earlier this year, I'd gotten a quote or a bid or estimate, however you want to put it, to see what it would cost us to replace one of the bigger units that we're having problems with right now in the summertime. In the wintertime, it's not so much of a big deal. In summertime, when you try to cool that front lobby, all the door open and shut all the time, the thing freezes up, and then it don't work, and then you shut it down, and then you wait for it to thaw out, and you mop up the mess, and then you turn it back on. Because we've had them come out and check it, they just keep having to refill it. So I had them give me a rough estimate on what it would cost us to completely upgrade that unit. It's I think it's a 5-ton, 3-phase unit. And also, in the back portion of the building, we have a single-phase 3-ton unit. It's a decent amount cheaper. To upgrade both of those, the estimate I got was $11,342 to do both of those units. So if we did both of those, that would put us a year ahead of schedule and get rid of the biggest problem unit we have right now. And we had originally budgeted $12,000 for the air conditioning unit, and of course got the estimate on that. It come in at $11,342 to do both of those units. And currently, we still have $11,885 remaining in that line item for the air conditioning, for repair and maintenance of the building. So we just, I don't know what lead time's gonna be on this stuff, and I'd like to at least get the problem unit taken care of before hot weather hits again, and we're having to pay to have them come out and refill this unit that we all know is bad. The unit, they tinkered on the inside, the air handler last year, thought they might have fixed it. When they got to inspecting a little deeper on the outside unit, they found oil that was leaking in the outside unit, so that tells us there's a hole somewhere in the coils on that outside unit. You might as well replace all of it, honestly. You know, I think what year was that building built? 96, 98? And I think they're all, as far as I know, they're original units. So, matter of fact, I think when I looked at the ID plate on one, it was right in that time period, 97, 98, somewhere around there.
How many bids did you get?
I haven't gotten the official bid yet, I just got an estimate. So basically, this is just seeking permission to acquire actual bids. Because I don't know if we will have to run that in the paper or something like that.
Yes.
So basically, you need the board to give you permission to put it out for bid.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to drag that out.
I'll make a motion that we put it out for bid for the 2 new units at the community center.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Laura. Any further discussion?
Aye.
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 I'm afraid, Sean, for moving so fast tonight, but you're killing me over there. Give me just a second.
You don't feel the heat?
No.
Then Eddie, can I request that you get on that if I'm gonna be in that building and be the one to mop up the water? Could you move that along a little quicker? Shh,
Where do,
down in front.
where do they go to put those bids in? If there's somebody out of the area that wants to do those?
Then they can be sealed in here.
Yeah.
We'll have to put it in the paper and,
But he can call you to,
we'll have to put something in the paper since the cost is over the threshold with the purchasing policy.
but
And
if
then
he
I'll have
wants
to
to
come
put
in
a
and
bid
seal
in,
bids.
he can get a hold of you to see what the procedure is.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, next item, Bill 1358, Ordinance 1730, amending the City Code of Ordinances from the City of Lakeview.
I'll read, I don't care.
Okay, we'll let you read it.
Bill 1358, Ordinance 1730, an ordinance amending the City Code of Ordinances for the City of Mountain View. Whereas the late fee charged on the City of Mountain View utility bills is much less than most surrounding towns, and whereas said late fee is not enough to deter citizens from paying utility bills late. And whereas the city of Mountain View currently has a large number of utility bills which are paid late, and whereas the city council has determined it be beneficial to the city to deter utility bills being paid late. Therefore, the city council has determined that there is a need to amend the city code of ordinances for the city of Mountain View, Missouri. Be it ordained by the Board of Aldermen for the city of Mountain View, Missouri, that Chapter 69 of the City Code of Ordinances be amended as followed. Chapter 69 Utilities, Subchapter A in general. That's Section 69.100 Billing Procedure. All users shall be billed monthly. Payments are due when billings are made. Any payment not received by the 15th of the month shall be delinquent. All delinquent bills shall be subject to a late payment penalty equal to 10% of the total amount owed. If any bill continues to go unpaid after 4:30 p.m. the business day before the shut-off date listed on the utility bills, the service to that account will be subject to disconnection. A $40 reconnection fee shall be assessed after all disconnections. That is reading number 1.
Do we have a motion, Louise? Motion by Laura. To accept the bill. 1358. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I make a motion to accept bill number 1358, ordinance number 1730.
I'll second that motion.
And do we have discussion? I'd like to add a little discussion, and that is not have the second reading today. Have it next meeting, so that we give everybody in town a good, fair warning notice of what's coming down. And it's gonna be a fair 10% across the board. So if I owe $600 and Laura owes $15, we both shouldn't pay the same late fee. If I'm late, I should pay 10% of the $600, she'll pay 10% of her $15. It makes it fair all across the board. And this way it would give everybody another 30 days, and then it would be the following billing period after that. So that's all the discussion I have. Roll call vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. First reading passes. Council to discuss golf and senior budgets.
Do you want to senior center first? We do senior center budget first.
Sure. Who we can put the senior center first?
You're at the principal's office.
The only area where I've asked for an increase is the purchases for resale for food expense. Because the price of food is going up every day, and we don't know what it's gonna be like the next year or so. I feel like we did really well so far this year, but we've been using, Ozarks Food Harvest a lot. That has helped quite a bit. Repair and maintenance of the building, we didn't have to use much because we had grants that covered. We had one that did the parking lot and also purchased the air conditioning unit for the kitchen. The Ozarks Food Harvest grant purchased the new dishwasher and induction oven. So we came in under budget on a lot of that. And then uniforms, I think we discussed that last time. Billy is the only one that uses the uniforms, but we always come out a little over on that.
Well, and he cut back on part of his uniforms recently too, so you should be fine.
And they make a difference.
Your rows are all classified, it comes from the same people, and so it's just coded in a computer, it all goes to the same line item. So you added rows, and that's why you went over it. And then your aprons you added.
But we had been getting aprons all along, but they weren't charging us for them.
Right.
So now that they started charging again. Maintenance and operation our income for the hot meals has gone down, but we lost so many people. We lost a lot during COVID, but it is starting to pick up. I have a new cook, it's starting to pick up. We've had 50 and above people, 2 or 3 days each week here now for a while. So it is looking up. We do have a grant coming up, it's emergency food and shelter. I don't know yet how much it will be. That is through Howell County, and it's determined by how many different entities apply for it. Say there's 4 rather than 6 or 8, each one will receive one round. There's a meeting next week for that, so I'll know then how much that's for, and it goes for food.
Is there any, is that something that you think you'll get, or you know you get, like a drink thing, or?
I'm sure we'll get some of it, I don't know how much.
Okay.
You know, it just depends on how many people apply for it.
Okay. I didn't know if it was like you guys were kind of bidding against each other, or?
No, not really. They, like the feed program is part of it, and there's several other entities. Last year, I believe there were only 4 that applied for it.
Okay.
So we got $1,600 last year.
Okay.
And that goes, you know, that'll pay for 1 month's food bill.
Yeah, anything else?
Yeah. See, pest control, that's. And custodial. I guess we're getting billed for the hour that McKenna does 3 days a week, and that's a big help. We are adding 2, 3, or 4 more clients every week for the frozen meal program. That means a lot more meals that have to be delivered, so that takes up a lot of Billy's time. He can't do the janitorial work, and with McKenna coming in, that does help quite a lot. Yes, that's it.
If there are questions, Phil? What else do you need? You need more people to know what services and stuff that you will provide out of there?
Yes, we do need to get the word out. Carla and Shannon have been working with me on that.
Okay.
Yeah, we do need, and I have people every day say, when are you gonna have a fish fry? Well, you gotta wait till it warms up, you know, you can't keep the fryers hot in this weather, this winter. But we usually have 100 people or more at the fish fry. Other than that, I can tell you that, we've pretty well replaced all appliances. We've replaced that air conditioning unit. Really, right now, there's not a whole lot that we need. That may change in the next year, but.
How many are you feeding daily?
Well, we have been feeding about 30 a day, we average 30 a day. But the last 2 or 3 weeks, we've been up to 50 and a little more per day.
So what is your target as far as for people to go? Because at one time, I know we've done a lot more than that.
Yeah.
I mean, can your staff handle it now? Because I don't want to inject, I made that mistake before. I injected and then you're overrun. Let's try to bring this up gradually.
Build up. When we were serving 75, 80 people a day, we had 2 full-time people in the kitchen, plus Billy was came and helped when we needed it. Right now, I just have 2 people. So if it continues to pick up, we may have to have part-time help. Like I said, I've got a really good cook now, and things are going much better.
The need for volunteers still too, right?
Yes, yes.
So that would be something as far as for putting the word out and seeing if you get volunteer of 1 person a month and you got 10 or 12 of them that show up once a month, that's tremendous.
Yes, it would be great. Right now, I have a total of, counting more today, 12 or 13 volunteers. They're not all Well, like my husband, he comes in and does fish fries. Last Thursday when my mom had passed away, he went in and helped unload the truck and do all that stuff, you know. So I have several that are just come in once in a while, but I have 9 that are there full-time. I could use another route driver. That would help. And I have put it on Facebook. Now, if they are above 60, they get reimbursed 65 cents a mile for their mileage through this RSVP volunteer program. That helps them a lot.
If they, what was the contingency?
They have to be above 60.
Oh, they're over 60. I'm not old enough.
Yeah, is this something that, like when you have a big event or something and need servers or anything like that, is that something you could like get with the high school? And potentially like the National Honor Society or something like that? Is that like out of the realm of possibility?
I don't know, that is, it's a possibility. We could do that.
SAM students, are they still required to do so much community service like they were when my girls were in school?
Yes.
Yes. That would be a good way too, because they have to actually go out into the community and do community projects.
Yeah.
That be legal?
I was going to say, what would be the,
I couldn't tell if Murray was looking at me or Carla.
Well, I'm looking at you for something different.
Oh, okay.
Community service, are we still having that issue as far as from court?
Going to ask, so if they're sentenced to community service, that is something that the city dictates what they can and can't do because they're doing it in lieu of fines.
Right.
If I have like a 17-year-old whose parent wants them to get sentenced to community service instead of having it on their record, which happens fairly often, I can do that through my office and I can tell them they have to go do whatever I want them to do. So that just depends.
I've been having young ladies come down and he's doing community service. One of the churches asked about him. He is a fantastic worker. Our little storage building out there was so packed that you couldn't even walk through it. He was out there an hour, had everything organized, had it all up on the shelves. I mean, and we've not had a bit of trouble with him. He, one day, the weather was bad, he mopped every floor in the building, and he eats a meal for free. He's volunteering, and he's worked out really well. I know in the past they kind of had some problems with him, but this kid's doing really good.
Carla can kick in on advertising, et cetera.
She's printed me up some flyers and things, and she's helped a lot. And something that we talked about was once a week, maybe calling one of the businesses and saying, okay, how many people do you have working today? We'd like to serve you lunch, and take them a carry-out meal, take our flyers in, let them distribute them. Maybe that
Just
would
to get
kind
the
of-
word out, we were just kind of bouncing between the three of us as ideas, and we said, you know, so many younger and older have no idea the good food that they serve there. A lot of the people I have found, and Carla has found, we're talking to people trying to brainstorm, is so many people still think unless they're over that threshold, they can't go eat, and you can't.
That's not true.
So we just thought, you know, just kind of a community give back. If, let's just say, a certain salon, and she calls and says, I have 3 here. She brought them 3 warm meals and a menu, and says, hey, you know, thanks for what you do. Spread the word for us.
You might reach out to the local churches and stuff too and see, like, they put something in our bulletins or something like that, because that would reach a bunch of them right there too.
Which is all between the supervisor of the department and Carla, and you guys do what you think best. That's why we had you there.
Sounds good.
Sometimes it's just a matter of getting the word out there that people just don't know.
I do think it's a stigmatism,
it,
the age thing. I really think
I
it's,
talked to my dad about it, and I'm like, you need to go have your hot milk. I'm not old enough for that. Like,
well, even my mom would be like, the old people? I'm like, you're 72. You are the old
I'm a
people.
senior, and a lot of the people my age are like, well, that's for the old people, you know. We are the old people. You have to realize that, you know. But, yeah, we do need to get the word out more. We did raise our meal price from $3.50 to $4. Have not heard one complaint about that. They've all been glad that they didn't have to come out with those quarters. They just handle $4 and they don't have to count for it.
Did you raise the under 60
No,
also?
we didn't, we haven't raised that one yet. We
So
probably,
you're at 4 and 6?
4 and 6.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no other place in town.
Oh,
you can
Gary,
eat for
say a
$6.
hot meal?
A full meal with a dessert, a drink, everything, you know.
But along with that, we're hitting mostly on the meals, but there are other services and stuff that you provide too. There's a weight room, there's community as far as for tables and things where people can come and meet.
We have exercise classes, line dance classes, and we've been trying to get them interested in crafts and things, but, yeah. They all say, oh, we got so much of that stuff at home now, we don't need that, you know. But, we're gonna do, it's called, Walk with Ease class. We've done that every year now for about 5 years. We started in the spring. We meet and walk 3 days a week, about a mile. And last year we had several, I think 12, something like that. That's really good for all of us.
Do you have any questions for her?
No.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, y'all.
And now we'll check in with Ty from the golf course.
How do I, do you guys ask me questions? You want me to just go down to these line items?
Yeah, Mr. Feel free to go ahead.
Go ahead.
Structure. Yes.
All right. Our gas and oil, we are almost at 100% of our budget number there. A large portion of that is due to the gas, our gas tank theft.
Leak.
Large leak.
Evaporation.
Yes, and then also is the gas prices, also is taking a toll on that. Moving down to miscellaneous, in order to stop the theft, we put up security cameras. It mysteriously stopped the theft. We haven't had any more theft or tampering or anything close to it. But that was I believe that was a $2,000 or $2,200 purchase that we put in miscellaneous. I'm asking for $700 to finish out the year with that. Concessions is over by $7,000, but all of that is, we spent over $7,000, but we're making that money back in the concessions, so. Couple of things, we're under R&M grounds, we're about 50,000, just over 50,000 under budget in that. We're going, this May, our bill will become due, and so we'll have a large upcoming bill for that. That'll be around 39,000. So I anticipate us coming in right at that number, maybe 5,000 low. Services and, oh no, I'm sorry, not services. I have a whole bunch in my supplies and materials. I've just been, we're over a considerable amount there, about $4,000. That's due, well, two things. Number one, I did not prepare, I wasn't a part of building this budget, but I also have been coding things to that I could have coded in another place. So, but moving forward, I do want to make that number a place where all of our supplies that we purchase will go into that budget. Moving down to machinery and equipment, I believe you guys have 3 proposals for a sprayer in there, in your packet. And I'd like to spend about half of that on that sprayer. And
Didn't we ask you to go ahead and get quotes and to get it?
yes, I got quotes and I put them in the board packet.
So,
Yes, there should be a B&B, a country club, landscape, and then a AD Williams. Yep.
And which one are you wanting to do?
I suggest and recommend the ADW or AD Williams sprayer. Multiple reasons, but the largest is it's the cheapest out of all of them. The next one is B&B, and it's twice the price of AD Williams, and it does absolutely nothing different than that one. And both of those, the AD Williams and the B&B, they use they're a multi-purpose sprayer, whereas the country, I think it's called Country Club Landscape, it's a sole use vehicle, and it's like, I think
It's got a slider one.
yes, yeah.
It says a quote is good for 30 days from 11/30 to 22.
Yes, and but it is. I've spoken with them, and he will honor. They will honor that price. They have actually. We are on the manufacturing line right now with that sprayer. If it does not get voted on, he said he can sell it at another place. But we are already. They're making it currently for us.
And as you explained them before, you're in dire need of this for this spring.
I am. It would be. Yes, I am.
And how's delivery time on it?
It's looking like April to May.
In
would be-
time before you-
And it would be before I am in the serious need of it. We just pulled out the sprayer today to check it out, because we're gonna have to go out and spray a spring application of herbicide, and it's gonna cost about $800 to fix it, just over due to sitting and we just pulled it out, filled it up with water, and 3 things broke on it, and so we're repairing those things right now. We just ordered the parts today for them.
And you have 15,000 in your budget.
There's 15,000 in the budget for machinery and equipment, and right now, that is all that's all I foresee us using. There may be 2 push mowers, like walk behind push mowers that I'll get for cleaning up the ditch, the river thing. That will not, I anticipate being $3,000 to $4,000 under budget in that, as long as nothing else breaks. And we have good equipment right now, and I have, except for the sprayer, and so I'm confident in that equipment.
What about your paving materials in there?
Paving materials.
Is that right, or am I
that I was paying attention to.
Yeah.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
I'm not gonna say, hey, we'll run that.
78.
Ty,
Yes,
when you come back up for a regular budget, this is like a pre-one,
yes,
bring in numbers of like for your retail sales and
Yes.
stuff, because this report isn't showing the true, it's only showing what you're spending.
yes.
But that is something that replenishes, plus you get,
Yes.
so that when you come to us, you just have a little better,
Okay.
that's all that I'm at.
Okay.
Because I know you know, but, yeah, for most people, they wouldn't know,
Yes.
okay, all I see is the negative side, well, that's not what the replenishment plus the percentage above.
Yes.
That was already done, so. And that's with all of the retail, and including, your dues and other things that come in through the pro shop.
And kind of along those lines, next month, I understand that I'll be presenting on where I think we should go with dues for this year, fees. Is that correct?
March.
March, so the March,
That would
okay.
be the
Next.
golf and pool fees. That comes up every year in March.
Okay. Sounds,
Well, those need to be passed because April 1st is when they all start paying their bills.
That was gonna be my question. We've already
Should
got
that-
people asking about if there's gonna be changes, what it's gonna
In
be.
years and years, at least back 10 years, that's when they've always done this March. I mean, not to say you can't change it, it's
Do you have recommendations now, or do you need more time as far as for going through for recommendations on that?
Carla and I sat down and spoke about what we think, and then I spoke with Punky and the mayor and Eddie. I almost said mom, but I don't know if I'm on that level with you yet. But we had a good conversation about that, and I wanted to speak with Carla about.
So you need more information?
I need a little bit more time.
I didn't want to put you on the spot unless you were ready, is what that's what the question was for, okay?
Okay.
So
I
you
appreciate
need more
it.
time, good, it's mute.
Okay.
Gotcha.
I do have, moving forward, I have heard a lot of people say, why can't we start paying in January, February? That's just when they want to. If we could, I would like to move that up. But if it needs to be in March, I understand that too, and I'm okay with that.
Deidre, it doesn't have to be done, but that's just when.
I have
they've
no
always-
idea why it was in March.
Yeah, I mean.
It just always has been.
Yeah. And a lot of people like probably pay that stuff with their income taxes, I
Yeah.
assume too, so.
Willow does theirs twice a year. They have January 1st till June 30th, where you pay half, or you pay the other half after July 1st, or you can do a lump sum. But
Is
then
there
you
a-
gotta
Is there
police
a
it.
break
Yeah.
if you get the what?
Well, you gotta, your pro shop manager got to police it. So, all right, it's July 1st,
Yes.
now you'll get
There's,
that.
yeah.
It's just an option. You guys can look at
Any
it.
other questions? Not any
I'll
of
give
us?
you, it's my recommendation, I gave it to you in our meeting, just, they haven't been raised in 2 years, everything's gone up. All the golfers would hate me, but they need to go up, they really should. Do a small amount this year, maybe a small amount next year, just whatever, but they should.
I don't disagree, because everything that I'm purchasing
Just like
right now is.
fuel's higher.
So what are you recommending? Like small amount, what do you mean?
I would do, like your single and family memberships, raise them 25 or 50 bucks. Don't touch your cart fees. And then if you look at your cart shed rental, like gas is $125 for a whole year, leave your cart there. And it's $150 for electric. If you could raise gas.
And electric just went up as we just.
Electric is,
heard,
yeah,
so-
$150 to charge your cart per year, raise it to $175, $200.
So, and leave gas
You could
where
leave
it's at?
gas, or you could move it up to 150. I wouldn't move it up as high level the electric.
Right, right.
And if you look at surrounding areas, that's still,
It's still considerably under, and right now, we are,
I think
our
it's
membership
300
is
at the West
way,
Plains Muni.
is way under the municipal. We can admit that.
So you're thinking 25 to 50 across the board?
Yeah, do it in small amounts instead of going one big lump sum.
We,
And then next year, look at it again and maybe do it again. So nothing gets cheaper.
as loyalty, in a year we had was, if you were a member this year, you got grandfathered in, and your rate would not increase. It would still would increase by 15-20% next year. But if you were not a member and you were coming in, a new membership would be 30% higher than what it is right now.
It's gonna be hard, because now you're looking at different scales, so it's just gonna be, again, you'll have to administer that. Yeah, that's the hard part. I look at things a little differently when it comes to rates, rather than going out with just numbers, is take a look at how much your expenses went up, look at it as far as the neighboring areas and stuff, and maybe not try to match theirs, but figure out what's going to pay, rather than giving just blank, that, okay, we're just gonna do X amount, and then you can round up or round down whatever you want to, what's gonna make it pay, or be beneficial. Same thing, keep in mind that, guarantee you, wages and stuff are going to increase off of next budget, because we're already seeing the trend from other cities. We raised up, now they're trying to steal people back again, so that's gonna cause your pricing again to it. But do an honest look at not only what we've got, what our costs are, but also what our competition, for a better word, would be. Okay.
Murray, you had asked me to, I gave a full in-depth briefing of what my conversation with Shipper Decker was on the simulator. I can give you just a brief one if you would like that. The brief one is, out of pocket, prepare to spend between $50,000 and $60,000 on it. It was a 5-year ROI for them, but they had very little food and beverage to go with it. They just had basically soda, chips, candy bars, and beer. So it was a 5-year payback. It does not get used at all during the spring, summer, and fall, but it stays pretty much really busy during
All the winter months.
your winter. He said 4 months. 3 months it's packed, and a little bit of November and a little bit of March is.
And they take theirs down and then
And
they
they-
put it back up.
Yes, they take it
So
down.
they're
We'll
looking at
leave it up 12.
some of the places I've gone into that you've seen it, they'd have night events, and
Yeah.
that's when they would use it as tournament for the actual.
He also said that they open later in the day and stay open later in the evening because it's more active. They only charge $20 a flat rate of $20 an hour, which is very cheap for that type of a service. But that's the abbreviation of the abbreviated conversation.
I think he's gonna need a motion, though.
I'd entertain a motion on the sprayers.
I just have a question before we get into that. I'm hearing over on budget, and then asking for a sprayer.
Yes,
Like-
not on that one.
He's under budget on this.
On this budget. So we're gonna be voting on something for the next budget?
Yeah, the new budget coming through. Yeah, actually, his numbers and stuff were down quite a bit from what, the percentage of losses and stuff already. Do you have any numbers as far as for that monkey? Did you dive into that?
I'm just looking at the overage on this, overage on this.
He's under here, even when it's fully conserved, the 16,000 spare there.
Didn't you have a considerable savings this year too, also on your
He
chemicals?
hasn't spent
Yeah.
it.
There was about a $30,000 savings in chemicals this year.
This year, that was 16, so he's an extra 30 ahead there. Right now, he's 4, he said somewhere else he was 4 behind, so he's still 25 ahead. So that's this $10,000. decide what we're gonna do with that sprayer idea.
My only question is if we're prepared to buy it financially.
That would be a good, that would be a good question.
No overhead to us.
Just tell us.
With the electric bills the way they are, if I was the one voting right now, I would say no. Not with all the projects we have going right now, but that's just me. I totally get the need, 100%. But we're in the middle of a lot of projects right now.
You're
I
coming
could
up next
probably
month.
pull some strings and, well, when could you foresee money being available?
I mean, it's just because we're in the middle of the pool project, then we've got Oak Street project coming up, we're not sure where we sit on that right now. We've got the alley upgrades we're in the middle of, it's just a lot right now. I'm not saying it shouldn't be bought, I don't know if it's something we should do right now.
First, thank you.
Can we relook next month?
It all depends on how long this quote is good for and when you need it in delivery time.
That's what I was gonna ask you. I don't mind calling them and just saying, can we, right now, what he is asking for is 20% down to like secure it and make him feel safe that we're not gonna be wishy-washy with it. And then the rest would be a net 30 days after delivery. I could ask him if we could just hold everything off until delivery, which would be April, May.
How much would your 20% be?
Yeah, a little less than $2,000.
And that would hold it till time of
And that,
delivery.
well, what he is asking for is that money, I mean, he's already giving he's taking me at my word saying, hey, we'll take it.
Okay. Could we swing that and then do the balance at closing?
I think that would be a lot safer.
If we were,
Considering that into the budget thing too, so.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm uncomfortable with this, and I'm essentially voting on something that I'm gonna be like passing off to the next board, so I'm very uncomfortable with it.
I will also say this, if you don't vote on it and the sprayer breaks, you're gonna be passing off dead greens. And so and dead greens are gonna cost a lot more money.
Snowball me an idea to make me feel better.
What's that?
Snowball me an idea of like money-wise on
If you had to replace a green.
if you had to.
Replacing one green is about $20,000 to $30,000.
Seriously.
Yes. Times 18.
Yeah, it's a critical tool that we need.
And what I'm using right now, I would love for you to come out and see it. I mean, it is bubble gum and duct tape together.
That's why the cameras went up when the greens were getting vandalized,
Okay.
because that's the kind of money that we're looking at.
I'm gonna make a motion, we go ahead and purchase it with the 20% down and with the,
From
AEW.
yeah. And that way we can do the rest at closing.
Okay.
So I'll throw that up there.
Do we have a second?
I second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I'm deferring to everyone else's judgment on this.
So what are you
You
going
can refrain.
to do? You did refrain? Did you say aye or did you refrain?
You don't have to say
Abstain.
Aye.
I'm gonna, I still don't.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay, she's an A.
Go ahead.
Okay.
3 ayes.
Just to clarify, it was the motion from Lendl to purchase the sprayer from ADW with paying 20% down now and deferring the balance to when, I'm sorry, I couldn't like that.
30 days after delivery.
Yeah, 30 days after delivery.
Balance to sorry, because I was trying to write, who was the second?
Three ayes.
I'm still working on trying to come up with some more creative ways on replacing the putting green. Carla and I have a good idea of holding a tournament, but I still think that we have some fish on the line for some donations.
Sponsorships, and that's why,
Yes.
rather
Yes,
than
there-
donations, let's do sponsorships.
Yeah.
Can you do 2 per hole, 1 for like the parking lot, 1 for the pro
Yes.
shop, and things like, so you're looking at
We're looking at
40 sponsors right there, right?
We're looking at, right now, what we have on paper is between $6,000 to $9,000 for a tournament that would come in April.
What are you thinking as far as first, don't quote, but think of how much per sponsor and figure if you can, because now you're listing out for 40, and I guarantee you can find that for the signage and stuff, if nothing else. Does that make sense? And if you're looking at a certain amount there, that can also help as far as some of the putting green project, assuring certain key items need to be there, and if nothing else, maybe a reserve if something broke there in the middle of season. Okay, and then on top of that, then every tournament you have, there's a special, gotcha, okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Doc.
Okay,
anything else that we missed? Anything for the good of the order?
We didn't add it to this agenda, but the mayor's minutes, you had been wanting to add that.
And you remember what I was gonna bring up?
I don't think I know of anything. I don't think you told me.
I don't have any notes on it.
I don't know, there's nothing that I know of.
Do any of you have anything for the good of the order before we come to closed session?
Soccer sign-ups going on now.
Okay, good. And do we have anybody in the audience that has something to add to good of the order before we go into closed session?
I just have one question.
Yeah.
When you were talking about 2008 was the last contract with the Chamber of Commerce, what's in those contracts? Does that stipulate like anything about locations or give times? I just wondered about that when he was up there, you know, because you guys said that the last contract was 2008.
But back then, go ahead.
Okay, so I know it was basically just a contract of occupy a space in the community center, like, tell me if I'm wrong, it's been a long time since I've actually,
Yeah.
and then we would cover, the city would cover the maintenance and the upkeep,
And it was also 12
Yeah.
and then
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a
wages.
portion, like we did donate to a portion
We paid half
of,
the wages.
yeah.
And the last one that I found at the office, which like I told you was from 2008. I don't know if the city had a newer one anywhere or not, but the last thing I found just in our file at the office was from then, and I think it covered that they would have an office, but not what office. That they were going to do the rentals in exchange for basically the office space, that they would not pay for the office, but they would do the rentals for it. And then keep the money from the rentals in exchange for doing like day-to-day upkeep for the building, and having somebody be there. And then I know it renewed, well, it didn't auto-renew, but it came up for renewal every year and had to be brought back up every year, which apparently stopped happening at some point. And then did talk about the city donating a portion for, I think, electricity, like utility coverage, and then just a monetary donation. But I don't remember if it specified how much those were for.
So it will need revised a lot anyway, to make all parties ready to
Yes, what they're
sign.
talking about now will be completely different. Yeah, it will be a totally different document from what it was, yeah.
Okay. Yes, sir.
You guys were talking, I'm just curious about the tax, the parks, the direct tax, general budget. fund to parks. Why is that money not being earmarked, just Parks and Rec? And there's not enough money to cover? Is that what that amounts to?
The
It says
pool
right
is
here, on
coming in
council
way
to
over.
discuss a transfer from general
What we
fund.
expected.
Right, but we have it under control. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, I was just curious.
Yeah, it's earmarked. It
Well,
is.
yeah, and okay, that he was wanting a sprayer, and that it was brought up about the Oak Street project as well as the swimming pool, and I'm like, okay,
Right.
all right.
Good point. And right now, we're really jumping the gun because, hey, we don't even know if we can afford the Oak Street project with the grant, or if we can downsize it and make it affordable. That's still in the air, the engineers are still working on it, et cetera. We're working on the water, the entire water and sewer grants and co-pays, et cetera. We got a lot on fire right now. Pool's going real well. We're doing good there, so not too scared there. And now we have financing for the alley. One breakdown would have took away our monthly payments there for years. And here all we'll have is $1,600 a month payment, so we're making real good progress with all of our projects at this time.
The scope of some of the projects, though, might have changed, but they're still
Yep.
looking, and that's
Yep.
why the mayor's being really modest with some of the things that he's gone in and done from behind the scenes. But a lot of it was originally what we were looking at doing had to get changed because of the increase in the cost of not only the labor, but the materials. PVC, iron, concrete. Concrete is off the chart too. So between the mayor and other key individuals, Eddie was a big part of that too. The scopes have changed. It's still getting fixed and mandated for what we need, but it's not originally what the focus was supposed to be, or actually the blueprint, for a better word. So,
The biggest thing right now is the electric rates have been steadily going up over the years, and we haven't been, the city hasn't been raising the rates along with them. And we've got to, that's our biggest thing. If we can get caught up on that, once we figure that all out, we'll be on an even keel. So we'll be fine. Any other questions?
I got something to add for electric, because I got a couple of people that actually hit me. When we get peak alerts, and that's not just affecting the city, that's the electric grid and stuff itself. It doesn't mean that the wiring and the power and stuff that we have in here is at fault. It means that the draw for our area is so stinking bad that they raise the rates because it's supply and demand. And that's where a lot of that really needs to come through, and people need to understand. It's not that the services and stuff that the workers and the things that we've improved on is bad. It's that in our area, they're sucking this thing through a straw, and there's not enough stuff coming in. So keep that in mind. We've got peak alerts that happen during the summer, but we've also had them tremendously this winter because we've had weeks of abnormally cold weather. So if you could let other people know that, that would be great. But if you think we have bad peak alerts, move to a city. Watch California. They even tell them not to charge their electric cars. So,
Yeah, so take the peak alerts seriously. And maybe that'll help everybody in the city. And besides, we have birthday. Oh, yeah, birthday. Yeah. And we've got cupcakes. So that'll be in between our going into closed session.
Need a motion?
Do we need a motion?
I'll make a motion that we go into closed session.
pursuant to
Some numbers.
RSMO 610.021, parentheses 3.
subsection
We have a
I have it in
second,
front of me.
I'll second.
second by the birthday girl. And vote.
Aye.
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 3. Aye.
Motion passes. Take a recess. Everybody.
Please.
have